Hello, I'm Isaac Hayes III, founder and CEO of Fanbase, and I'm here with a very important message. We are at a turning point in the Black community where we must have equity in the apps we use that scale to billions of dollars. But this time, we own the infrastructure, we own the culture, and we shape the future. And Fanbase is the future. Fanbase combines the free functionality of Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube into an all-in-one platform built for the evolution of social media and monetization. With over 1.4 million users, that's real proof that we are shifting the conversation of tech ownership and equity for creators. So right now, I want you to go to startengine.com/fanbase and invest today. The minimum to invest is $399. That gets you 60 shares of stock in Fanbase at $665 a share. This marks a turning point in Black ownership of social media. If we don't take this opportunity to own social media right now, we will always be customers to our own creations. And that can't go on. So once again, go to startengine.com/fanbase and invest today. We must own the platforms where our voices live, our stories matter, and where our culture drives the world. Thank you.
Folks, Black Star Network is here.
Hold no punches!
I'm real revolutionary right now. Black power.
Support this man, Black media. He makes sure that our stories are told.
Thank you for being the voice of Black America, Roland.
Stay black. I love y'all.
All momentum we have now, we have to keep this going.
The video looks phenomenal.
See, this difference between Black Star Network and Black-owned media and something like CNN.
You can't be Black-owned media and be scared.
It's time to be smart.
Bring your eyeballs home.
You dig? Folks, today's Monday, October 20th, 2025. Coming up at Roland Martin Unfiltered, streaming live on the Black Star Network. The trial of the cop who shot and killed Sonia Massey in Illinois. Jury selection has begun. We'll tell you about that. Also on today's show, the 18th Congressional District in Houston. A number of candidates are vying to replace the deceased Congressman Sylvester Turner, who replaced Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee, who also passed away. We'll talk to one of those candidates on tonight's show. Also, the Department of Homeland Security, they screwed up. Then they doubled down. They actually posted a doctored video of some black kids saying that they were going to come after ICE. But it was edited. And these idiots doubled down on the video. One of the young men in the video released a response to their shameful, despicable post. Speaking of shameful, despicable post, another Donald Trump appointee shows how racist he is. Wait until we show you what the person who's supposed to be in charge of ethics, what he had to say about Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s holiday, and also black people, plus him being a Nazi. He actually said that, y'all. Also, Stephen A. Smith continues to run his mouth and get stuff wrong when he talks about Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett. I dealt with this a week ago. Looks like I gotta do it again. And also, Fit, Live, Win. We'll talk about the issue of breast cancer. What's going on with young black women? More and more 35 and under are being diagnosed with breast cancer. It's a lot we're gonna break down. It's time to bring the funk. I'm Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network. Let's go.
He's got it. Whatever the biz, he's on it. Whatever it is, he's got the scoop, the fact, the find. And when it breaks, he's right on time and it's rolling. Best believe he's knowing. Putting it down from sports to news to politics. With entertainment just for kicks, he's rolling. It's on go, roll, y'all. It's Roland Martin, rolling with Roland now. He's funk, he's fresh, he's real, the best, you know he's Roland Martin now.
Folks, a year ago, Sean Grayson shot and killed Sonia Massey in her kitchen. Now, he goes to trial. A number of potential jurors filed into a courthouse in Peoria County, Illinois, for the trial of Sean Grayson. He is the former deputy sheriff, in Sangamon County. He was charged with first-degree murder in connection with the fatal shooting of Sonia Massey. That took place on July 6, 2024. He faces 3 charges related to her death, including first-degree murder, aggravated battery with a firearm, and official misconduct. Now, this is the video right here, y'all, where he shot Massey in the head, responding to her 911 call about a potential prowler outside the home. Now, Grayson claims he felt threatened when Massey moved a pot of boiling water on the stove. Turn the audio up. Listen to this, y'all.
What are you doing? Huh? Where are you going? Away from your hot steaming water. Away from my hot steaming water? Yeah. Oh, I would rebuke you in the name of Jesus. I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. You better fucking not. I swear to God, I'll fucking shoot you right in your fucking face. Okay, I'm sorry. Drop the fucking pot! Drop the fucking pot! Drop the fucking pot! 19 shots fired. Shots fired! Shots fired! Drop the fucking pot! Bring EMS now. We got a headshot wound to the...
Following the shooting, Grayson was terminated by the sheriff's office. We also found out that he had been fired from another police agency. In February, Massey's family reached a multi-million-dollar settlement with the county with regards to her death. The trial is taking place in Peoria after it was moved from Sangamon County due to extensive media coverage. Now, you watch that video, and I can't wait to this. When you have cross-examination, we don't know if he's going to testify. He wasn't even near her. She's literally across the room, and she moves a pot of boiling water on the stove. You see the video? They could have easily backed up. backed away. He claims, oh, he was sitting here scared for his life. That's the reality of what it means to be black in America. Dr. Omikongo Dabinga Sr., Professor of Lecturer, School of International Service, American University out of D.C., joins us right now, author of Lies About Black People, How to Combat Racism. Also, Ashley Demi joins us out of Washington, D.C., and we got another guest we'll be waiting to hook up with. So, Omikongo, I don't understand at all. This, again, anybody, you watch this video, it is ludicrous for him to say, oh, my life was in danger because she was standing across from the room with a pot of water.
Yeah, and it's like you said. I mean, this is what it's like being us in America. It's like you're assumed guilty until proven innocent. But oftentimes with these types of officers who have no business being on the force, it's shoot first and ask questions later if you choose to ask any questions at all. You talk so many times on this show, Roland, when we talk about various incidents about the roles of the police officers, how they're supposed to be the ones to calm things down, how they're supposed to be the ones to be the quote unquote, adult in the room, for lack of a better term, if somebody's acting out, freaking out, going crazy, intense. This woman was none of those things. This woman was none of those things, and Massey made the call. And so, and the fact that this man has worked at other places before, this is one of the reasons why we fought so hard to make sure that we have national registry of these officers, because this shouldn't have been a job he shouldn't have had an opportunity to have the second time. Her family did not deserve that. Our community did not deserve that. And this is just another example of these officers coming in cowboy style, feeling like they just have the opportunity and the ability to do anything. And this is what Trump talked about when he's like, law enforcement can just run wild. And this is an example. We've seen this many times before. Trump has said that, of course, but this is the latest example of that. My thoughts and prayers and any other support we can provide to this family is necessary, but something has to be done to these cops, because especially under Trump now, they're feeling more emboldened to do things like this, and her family and our community deserve better.
Ashley?
Protect and serve, right? This is what they're supposed to do. She was in her nightgown and she was unarmed. So this is such a horrific story. It should, I mean, I know we have to have a trial, but this was clearly, she was unarmed and this was clearly racially targeted. So I really hope they get the book thrown at them. Like, look at this, in her nightgown, like this, it was horrific. It really was. It was. I think he made more of the situation. And I guess he used the hot water as her weapon, but it definitely was taken out of proportion, and we lost an innocent life because of this.
Well, unfortunately, we've seen these things happen time and time again. And so, again, jury selection takes place in this trial, and it will commence. We'll see how long it takes place when the trial actually begins. Let's go to a short break. We come back. Government shutdown is taking place. We'll talk about that. Stephen A. Smith, why does he keep talking about Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett? I don't understand. I got to deal with this again on the show. We'll be dealing with that. And plus, on today's show, Department of Homeland Security altering or posting on social media an altered video. They don't fact check. They don't care. And they're going to put these young black men in harm's way. Oh, and Donald Trump is tearing down a portion of the East Wing to build his stupid-ass ballroom. And he lied, saying the White House was never going to be touched. The liar lied. No shock. You're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network.
Nicole Cole knows the cornerstone of a successful life starts here. Virginia Public Schools gave Nicole an excellent education. They helped her become a small business owner, family financial planner, mother, and community leader. Now, after 4 years on the Spotsylvania School Board, Nicole is running for delegate to meet the needs of all students. As our delegate, Nicole will fully fund our schools, raise teacher salaries, and help graduating students stay in our communities. Nicole Cole for delegate. For us, for our future.
Josh Cole became a pastor and delegate to serve his community. That's why Josh is fighting to lower costs for families hurting from inflation and make sure we can all afford quality health care. But Sean Steinway has embraced his MAGA backers who support Trump's mass firing of federal workers and the MAGA plan to ban abortion with no exceptions. We deserve better than Sean Steinway.
I'm Josh Cole, candidate for delegate, and I sponsored this ad.
In the military, I gave orders, and they went a lot further than they do around here. If there's one thing I've learned as a mom and foster parent of more kids than I can count,
Investing in their future isn't a choice.
in Richmond, I'll fight for Stafford's fair share for our schools. Smaller class sizes, better teacher pay, and more vocational training.
I'm Stacey Carroll, and I'll fight to get our kids' future in order.
Next on The Black Table with me, Greg Calker. Why the America we live in today is not what the founders intended or what they outlined in the Declaration of Independence and even the Constitution. Professor and author Kermit Roosevelt will join us to talk about his book, The Nation That Never Was. How history was misinterpreted, the intent and realities of America's beginnings, and missed a much better story in the process.
So if you have to pick some group to marginalize, I think it should be the people who are against equality.
That's next on The Black Table, right here on the Black Star Network.
It's your boy Earthquake, giving Roland Martin something to do, because he don't know what to do. He from Texas. Ain't his fault.
All right, folks, this is a live look of the United States Senate where they are going to be voting for the 11th time on a bill that would reopen the government until November 21st. That's right, military pay has once again become a focal point as Republican Senate Majority Leader John Thune aims to pressure Democrats to support the Trump-backed measure, which is part of the GOP's strict shutdown strategy. Now, the House, they're out of session again. Do y'all understand that the House has literally been out of session 72 of the last 84 days? They've worked 12 days. That's it, 12 days. 12 days. And Speaker Mike Johnson, it's not like he gives a damn. And so he keeps saying, well, no, we're in a pro forma session, and so we're not going to sit here and do any business until Democrats stop, stalling while they reopen the government. But the reality is Democrats are standing firm on the issue of health care, and that's what's going on. And so what you got here is Mike Johnson, of course, who also refuses to seat the duly elected member of Congress from Arizona. Now, he was on ABC This Week on yesterday. John Carl pressed him on this, and then Johnson came up with another example. Oh, no, because, his reason keeps switching. Now he's trying to blame it on Nancy Pelosi. Listen to this idiot.
Are you going to swear in Representative-elect Adelita Grijalva?
As soon as we get back to legislative session, when Chuck Schumer allows us to turn the lights back on.
Why haven't you done it already?
Because this is the way the institution works. I'm following the Pelosi precedent, by the way, when my dear friend from Louisiana, Julia Letlow, was elected to fill the seat of her deceased husband because of COVID. Nancy Pelosi took 25 days to swear her in. By the way,
are you saying? Let me stop you. Are you saying that Nancy Pelosi refused to swear her in earlier?
No, I'm saying that's my very point. Is this is the normal
my
process.
Understanding is that was the date that actually the representative-elect Letlow at the time requested. She had obviously her.
Okay, here's some more examples. Okay.
No, but wait a minute. You mentioned the Pelosi precedent, but Pelosi didn't delay that.
Let me give you more of the Pelosi precedent. Okay.
And what about the Johnson precedent? Because you swore in two Republicans the day after their election.
I'm happy to answer. Pelosi precedent. Pat Ryan, Joe Simpolinski. They were elected during an August recess. So 21 days later, when the House returned to regular legislative session, they were administered the oath. That's what we're doing. We're not in session right now. Rep. Grijalva was elected after the House was out of session. As soon as we return to legislative session, as soon as the Democrats decide to turn the lights back on so we can all get back here, I will administer the oath on the first day.
You could swear her in tomorrow, right?
No, not tomorrow. No, we couldn't. We wouldn't. There was an exception for 2 Floridians earlier in this Congress, but the reason was they were duly elected, they had a date set, they flew in all their friends and family, and the House went out of session.
So if she flies in friends and family, then
we don't have a date set. She was elected after.
Okay.
GPS. Did y'all hear all that line? Did y'all hear the line? So it was, Pelosi did this here. My bad. I'm sorry. I know Pelosi did it, but, okay, I got another example. It was sort of like, let's see, okay, let me find another one. Find another one. Let me just throw another ball in the air. That's all he's doing. He's lying, y'all. He's lying. Johnson doesn't care. He's lying. And see, and now Republicans want to play this game of, so let's fund the military. So Democrats, we're going to blame you. Well, really? That's because, y'all are mad because the military people are now jumping on your ass because of what you've done. And so now they want to sit here and play games and say, well, let's at least fund the military. But I'm sorry, weren't y'all just, you know, over here like not wanting to fund? So plus this thing is gonna happen through November 21st. So that's just like, oh, I don't know, 32 days. So what are we actually doing here? Now, you got to remember, this is the same person, Mike Johnson, who got slammed by the wife of a member of the military. He was on C-SPAN, and she called in, she lit his ass up. This is what she said.
Republican line, Fort Belvoir, Virginia. Samantha, you're on with Speaker Johnson.
Hi, Mr. Johnson. So my question or comments are related to what you said yesterday about not being open to pass any legislation to ensure that military gets paid. I'm sure you can tell by my voice I'm very shaky. Just want you to hear a little bit about my family. I have 2 medically fragile children. I have a husband who actively serves this country. He suffers from PTSD from his 2 tours in Afghanistan. If we see a lapse in pay come the 15th, my children do not get to get the medication that's needed for them to live their life because we live paycheck to paycheck. I heard you earlier say that you side with President Trump on anything that he says. Well, I just read an article this morning that said he absolutely wholeheartedly believes that there needs to be legislation put in so that we do not miss a paycheck. You have the power to do that. And as a Republican, I'm very disappointed in my party, and I'm very disappointed in you because you do have the power to call the House back. You did that, or you refused to do that just for a show. I am begging you to pass this legislation. My kids could die. We don't have the credit because of the medical bills that I have to pay regularly. You could stop this, and you could be the one that could say military is getting paid. And I think that it is awful, and the audacity of someone who makes 6 figures a year to do this to military families is insane.
All right.
I want you to understand what happened here. She mixed a couple of things together. Okay, so she mixed military pay and she mixed health care credits. Now, this is what people need to understand. And this is why the right is getting nailed and they can't handle it because they're getting killed on this issue of the health care subsidies. We've seen this go on. So check this out. Robert Rice, the former labor secretary, reposted this tweet from accountable.us. If Republicans in Congress don't extend the Affordable Care Act tax credits, 5 million Americans lose health care, premiums soar for millions more, 340,000 jobs disappear. Y'all see that? Y'all see that? That's real, okay? And so this is what you have to understand, okay? So she's talking about pay, but the other issue has to do with the premiums that you are seeing. Rice also posted, let me find it right here, give me 1 second, where he talked about, again, these premiums and why they matter. And Republicans are fighting this. They hate the Affordable Care Act. They can't stand it, but they've never actually come up with their own health care plan. Trump was there for 4 years. Nothing. 4 years of Biden, nothing. So, okay, what are y'all doing? Rice posted this. 10 million adults on the Affordable Care Act plans are self-employed or small business owners and employees. A restaurant owner in Virginia could see his monthly premium double, shooting up to $1,400 a month. Small businesses are the lifeblood of our communities, and Republicans are shafting them. Hello? See what I'm saying, y'all? See, this is what they don't want people to contend with. They don't want you to contend with this here because when you start looking at the money, when you start looking at the numbers, these are the people that are being impacted. And so what the Republicans tried to do was, when they passed that big ugly bill, they shifted a lot of those costs to 2027 so it wouldn't impact the 2026 midterm elections. The problem is this little subsidy, it has to be dealt with right now. So people are getting notices as we speak regarding these healthcare premiums. And so when you start looking at the numbers, and I'm trying to find this other post that Rice posted because it dealt with this couple in Idaho that will see their health care jump by $20,000. This, Congo, is what the real issue is. And I'm going to deal with this a little bit later. You know, Stephen A. was on CNN, Laura Coates saying Democrats don't have a strategy. I'm like, have you paid any attention? The fact of the matter is, Democrats have been waffling, national Democrats have been waffling for the last 9 months. They have finally hit on something that is resonating and is showing up in the polling data. It is the issue of health care. And here's what they're hitting. The reality is they are having to contend with the fact that polling numbers show that Republicans in these red states, a lot of poor people, a lot of small businesses are now realizing, oh yeah, they hate Obamacare, but damn, they love that Affordable Care Act.
Yeah, they do. You know, they're like they loving saying Obamacare's now because the fact of the matter is this is one of the reasons why they don't want to come back. In addition to, of course, the Epstein files. And what we see right now with Mike Johnson, that interview was so powerful because it shows what happens when journalists do their research, which is why none of these guys will ever come on your show. So many of these other shows, they're just yes men and yes women. They're just like But the way he called them out, he's showing that Republicans need to be on point as it relates to this, but they can't because they have no health care plan. And they just are so anti-Obama anything. And the fact that the Democrats have finally found their message and are sticking with it. You know, one of the talking points that the Republicans had was that the Democrats were going to agree to open up the government right after the No Kings rally ended. But yet here we are again into day 20 of the shutdown. And so the Democrats do have a strategy. Trump got over on saying waste, fraud, and abuse. They had their phrases, they had their catchphrases every single time. And now the Democrats have that as well. And these folks in these red states, you talked about the military and them not getting money or getting, money in a particular roundabout way. Same thing with the farmers, right? Who we've also talked about on this show and who are also pissed off. And even the money that they can't, that is supposed to bail them out, they can't even get now because of the shutdown. So if they're going to get something, it's going to take a little bit longer. This healthcare message has to stick. Everybody's talking about Democrats need to run on affordability. Yes, they're running on that, but this healthcare is connected to that because we're going to see so many challenges with our society right now. And these red state guys, they need to stop talking about, okay, they want to keep their health care, but not go against Trump. It's time that they put some skin in the game, and it's time that they get out there to rally, time to get out there to protest, get out there to call their Congress folks. All their Congress folks are home right now. What do you say, 72 out of the last 84 days? They're home right now. Roll up on their offices, call them up, get some skin in the game, and actually demand what you claim you love. Make them work.
Ashley?
It's unfortunate. This will be the last check that government workers get on Friday. So it's sad. And there's a source of mine in the office where they administer food stamps. And she said, I have never seen so many white Americans cry. I'm like, yeah, those red states in Wichita, Kansas, and Bubble F, Montana. I mean, it's insane. We're talking about healthcare. We're talking about food. People, like she said, are living paycheck to paycheck. So they need to, open up, bring the house back. This is wild. 21 days is wild.
This is a tweet from Senator Kirsten Gillibrand. She says, without key Affordable Care Act tax credits, a person making $65,000 a year in Tompkins County, New York, would pay close to $10,000 a year. This is the graph that she posts right here. So you see right here, you're talking about going from $2,337 to $9,675. See, it amazes me, these people who don't want to confront the reality, Congo, that subsidies matter. Now, Trump wants to give billions to farmers who are getting screwed by his dumbass tariffs because China ain't buying soybeans. They have no health care plan. They want to get rid of the subsidies, but health care is real. So they don't want to do health care for all. They don't want that. They want to get rid of the subsidies. Now they're sitting getting nailed. To me, this is where Democrats have to be hammering every single day on this.
Yes, and they also need to be taking your advice as well as Reverend Barber's advice and putting more people in the front like they did at one of the rallies, that they had last week. They need to have people out there to put real faces with these costs and what's actually going to happen. Imagine if that caller who called Mike Johnson, imagine if they found her and brought her in front of people to actually talk, or people like her to talk about what's happening. I mean, people are at home with children who are sick, elder members who are sick, and this is something that's going to be needed. And then the family that's just healthy, but just can't afford it, period, bottom line. These stories need to be told. And these stories are all out on Instagram and TikTok and all in the social media spaces. These are people who are not hard to find. So this has to be the next step of the Democratic message, is putting more people in front who can speak to the real challenges that are happening right now, the small businesses, the individuals who are working in their communities, the hospitals that are going to close. Some have already started closing in rural areas as well as in city areas as well. There is a way to continue to dominate this message. And I love what Hakeem Jeffries and what others are saying, but they need to put more faces to it. And that's really going to be something that's going to drive the message home. And again, they need to go and do this in red states. Go to these guys' offices. These Republicans, they ain't even having town halls. Like, go to their offices, take people from West Virginia and all of these places, let them speak to it. And I believe that needs to be the next step to getting these Republicans back to the table.
About an hour ago, actually a couple of hours ago, Democrat leader Hakeem Jeffries held a news conference, and this is what he had to say.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is day 20 of the Trump Republican shutdown, and Republicans have shown zero interest in reopening the government, enacting a bipartisan spending agreement that actually is designed to make life better for the American people, and address the healthcare crisis that Republicans have created that is devastating people all across America. Our position as Democrats remain clear in the House and in the Senate. We need to reopen the government, and we need to do that now. We need to find a bipartisan path toward enacting a spending agreement that actually is designed to make life better for the American people, as opposed to hurting everyday Americans. And we need to decisively address the Republican health care crisis that is crushing people all across the country. Working class America, rural America, urban America, the heartland of America, small town America, and black and brown communities all across America. The Republican health care crisis, as Marjorie Taylor Greene has repeatedly indicated, is real. And it's having devastating impacts that are becoming increasingly apparent to the American people. In Idaho, 100,000 Americans are at risk of losing their health care if the Affordable Care Act tax credits expire, because it will become unaffordable for them. In Georgia, Virginia, and Maryland, people are now finding out that their health insurance premiums are about to increase, in some instances, by more than $2,000 per month, for a total of $24,000 per year. No one can afford those types of increases. In Alabama, it's now clear that at least 50 rural hospitals are at risk of closing because of what Republicans have done in devastating Medicaid in their one big ugly bill. The Republican health care crisis is real. And every day that passes by without action, it gets even worse for hardworking American taxpayers. Questions?
Mr. Leader. Open enrollment, as you know, begins on November 1st. Once that date comes, will this fight for health care still be worth it?
If we don't address the Republican health care crisis in advance of open enrollment on November 1st, it will become even more apparent to everyday Americans why we need to extend the Affordable Care Act tax credits. Because by that point, tens of millions of people across the country will realize that their health insurance premiums, copays, and deductibles have skyrocketed beyond what's affordable because of Republican inaction.
So it wouldn't guarantee an end of the shutdown come November 1st?
It's certainly our hope that as the reality starts to sink in for so many Americans across the country, that because of the Republican refusal to extend the Affordable Care Act tax credits for working class Americans, that their premiums, copays, and deductibles are going to increase by thousands of dollars per year, in some cases more than $20,000 a year, that action needs to be taken by the Congress now, as Democrats have been saying for the last several weeks.
If Senate Democrats walk away with a failed vote to extend the ACA subsidies, let's say a 60-vote threshold, and declare victory and vote for the clean CR, would that be a satisfactory outcome for you, your caucus, your voters?
House and Senate Democrats have been on the same page from the very beginning of the effort to try to fund the government, which is to make clear we need to cancel the cuts, lower the costs, save health care.
Thank you, Leader. Speaker Johnson held his press conference with Chip Roy, Andy Harris of the Freedom Caucus this morning. He said that Republicans were captive to the left. That's why you and Chuck Schumer were so supportive of the No Kings rally this weekend. I want to kind of get your sense of how do you see the Republican opposition to the ACA subsidies, which is something that the Freedom Caucus is leading on. Can you speak about that dynamic of them framing you all as captive to the left when the Freedom Caucus is kind of leading on their opposition to the extending the ACA subsidies?
The House Republicans are divorced from reality and have continued to function as nothing more than wholly owned subsidiaries of Donald Trump and his extreme administration. From the very beginning of this Congress, Republicans have done nothing to make life better for the American people. That's why the American people know overwhelmingly the country is heading in the wrong direction, and why Donald Trump's approval ratings are at rock bottom. Republicans promised that they were going to lower the high cost of living on day one.
I love promoting our delicious baked goods. Thanks to OptiSigns.
Hold tight 1 second. We're going to play the rest. Here we go. Here we go.
Electricity prices are through the roof. Housing costs too expensive. Childcare costs too expensive. Groceries too expensive. And now, because of Republican refusal to extend the Affordable Care Act tax credits, tens of millions of Americans are about to experience these dramatically increased health care premiums such that they will be unable to see a doctor when they need one, when their children need one, or when their family needs one. Like, at the end of the day, this is about the health care of the American people. And this is about driving down the high cost of living. No matter what lies or disinformation Republicans continue to try to put out there in the public domain. The Republican argument coming from the House has changed every week. It literally has changed every week. Now it's because of the No King's Day peaceful, patriotic, and powerful protest that occurred this weekend. In a few days, it'll be about something else. Democrats from the very beginning have been crystal clear and consistent. Cancel the cuts, lower the costs, save health care.
Do you see this shutdown ending in any way without Trump's involvement? Does he need to get involved?
Donald Trump definitively needs to get involved. He needs to get off the sidelines, get off the golf course, and actually decide to end the shutdown that he's created, that he has allowed to happen. We know that House and Senate Republicans don't do anything without getting permission from their boss, Donald J. Trump. And the reason why there have been no negotiations, zero negotiations, since Republicans shut the government down, is because Donald Trump clearly wants the government shut down. He wants to inflict pain on the American people. And this will not change until Donald Trump gives Republicans permission to sit down with Democrats. And as we've indicated, we are ready, willing, and able to sit down anytime, any place, with anyone here at the Capitol or back in the White House to try to enact a bipartisan spending agreement that actually improves the quality of life of the American people and addresses decisively the Republican health care crisis that is devastating people all across the country.
Mr. Lee, here's some interesting comments from the HFC, House Freedom Caucus today, that they would possibly be open to a subsidy extension if they got certain changes to health care policies like HSA extension, expansion or short-term plans. Is it a clean subsidy extension only for you, or are you open to some of these ideas at the Freedom Caucus and other places?
Well, our position has been that we are open certainly to anything bipartisan that emerges from the Senate in good faith that reopens the government, but at the same time decisively addresses the Republican health care crisis, which includes, but is not limited to, extending the Affordable Care Act tax credits, because that needs to be done with urgency, given the fact that open enrollment starts on November 1st. And all across the country right now, tens of millions of Americans are receiving notices that are shocking them in terms of the premiums, copays, and deductible increases that they are being forced to absorb because of Republican inaction.
Right there, Congo, you ride it, you hit 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 it, because whether folks like it or not, when you talk about health care, you're talking about it's impacting Republicans, Democrats, independents, voters, non-voters, black, white, gay, straight, Latino, Asian, Native American, it does not matter. And so Republicans have to be confronted on this issue. You have no health care plan, you have no fix, you're taking something away, you're not replacing with anything.
Yeah, I mean, he was hitting all the points, and no tie or anything. Looking a little bit more casual as well. He hit it, and he didn't let the questioners distract him from message. I have not seen a Democrat stay this on message in a very long time, and it's extremely powerful. And he kept, and you notice, look, we can sit here and talk about Epstein files and all this other type of stuff. He didn't go to any of that. He kept it strictly on the healthcare. And like I was saying, imagine if he had somebody else, some other people, average Americans who could come up there and speak to it. But it's not only the fact that he's driving this point home. All of the Democrats I've heard on the shows over the weekend, the last couple of days and all of that, they're all saying the same thing. And his ability to call out Trump and to make the Republicans look weak, saying y'all can't do anything unless Donald J. Trump gives you permission. These are all facts. I'm not looking at anything that he's saying in there that is a lie, that's manipulation, and people can't argue with them because at the end of the day, the Democrats are there, or here, I should say, they are in D.C. So when he says we're ready to meet, it's not about, I'll fly down anytime. They are there in D.C. daily doing the work. The Republicans are nowhere to be found, and they need to continue to be called out. And the way he did it, I felt was masterful.
Absolutely. Actually, you had all these Republicans last week whining and crying about the No Kings March. That's the First Amendment. That's the freedom of assembly, freedom of speech, freedom of expression. And so they were all mad and upset. It's kind of like, y'all mad? And guess what? There was no violence. They were predicting all of this massive Antifa violence because they were trying to distract. Their criticism of the marches were nothing very similar to me of the migrant caravans that Fox News breaks out every time around the election season.
Mm-hmm.
Actually,
divorce from reality. Hakeem Jeffries said it perfectly. Because all America, rural America, urban America, the heartland, like 50 hospitals closing. That's what about pregnant mothers, friends and families undergoing chemotherapy? Like, this is bad. But Trump, like he said, wants to inflict pain because he's trying to create this dictator role that he's trying to want so badly, like his friend Putin. But yeah, wild.
All right, folks, let's talk about Department of Homeland Security. Department of Homeland Security. So over the weekend, they posted a tweet, and this is literally what they posted. Okay, this is the tweet right here. Okay. All right, that's the tweet. Now I want y'all to play the video that they actually posted. You have that? Let's play the video.
Blessed that these hoes on my dick cause I'm fly like a jet. They gon' be surprised when they see I made this beat, baby Chief and Kanye West. As long as the hoe outside with the zoo shit never see home. 26.
Now that was the video. The video claimed. So again, DHS talking about they are threatening law enforcement. Here's the problem. That was an altered video. This is actually the original video that was posted on TikTok.
Police steady watching me. Every day they clocking me. Red alert, I'm the dangerous. I keep that Glock on me. And they ain't looking for no trouble. I'm just looking out for me. Cause I done did shit the niggas ain't talking about no rap.
The original was talking about Iran. Now, somebody posted this next tweet. Somebody posted the comparison. Look at how doctored the video is. They actually removed some people from the video. They removed folks from the original video, and in the original, in the altered one, they actually posted it. Now, what makes matters worse is these DHS idiots actually doubled down on their post. They doubled down, didn't apologize, didn't say, hey, we screwed up. No, these dumbasses doubled down. Now, the young brother who was in the center of the original video, he responded on TikTok. Y'all roll his response.
So I'm getting these mad messages from my DMs and social media and on my comments. And I randomly get a text message talking about a recent video that was posted in my account. I was like, what are y'all talking about? By the way, I'm sick, so if I sound weird, yeah. I get threats daily on IG and everywhere all over my social media all of a sudden due to an old video I posted months ago about Iran. Iran, that was not to be a threat. It was literally a joke, bro. Like, seriously, it's just content. Anyways, once I seen that video that was posted in my account, then I was like, what the fuck? Well, didn't I post this like months ago? Then I seen the caption, and then I was like, wait, I didn't do that. I still got the video saved on my draft from months ago on TikTok, bro. I'm gonna pull it up right here. Now, here's the fucked up part. The federal government is involved with something that I didn't do. Like, what? So this is what they reposted off my TikTok. That video got taken down. So here's what they reposted on their page. Now that video is going crazy as hell on Twitter, bro. Now I'm a threat to the government for something that I didn't do, bro. Now I'm being called a wannabe YN, a wannabe gangster over a video that I didn't caption or I didn't post. So thanks for my followers for letting me know about this, because seriously, this is getting out of hand. Like, literally, this is going crazy, viral all over social media right now. Probably might end up being on the news, bro. So my apologies for that contradiction and rumors from happening. I know my First Amendment, but I did not post that video. So to clear that out, I did not post that video, and I apologize for all the rumors that is going around right now on social media about this conflict. And those other kids that was on the video, bro, they volunteered to want to be on the video, bro. I asked them if they wanted to be on the video, and then they said, yeah, they agreed with it. But it wasn't really aware with the caption for the Iran video. But that Iran video trend that was going on a few months ago, I wanted to hop on that trend, and I peeped a lot of people was doing the same thing too. So I wanted to be creative and change my perspective. So then I seen comments saying, oh, what if somebody made a YN type of video? So then I ended up making that video. And then I started getting threats. Like, what? How is it my fault that's what y'all wanted?
The original video was posted on June 22nd, the day the U.S. bombed Iran. His video had to do with Iran. And these assholes from the Department of Homeland Security, including Ice Barbie Christiane, they're so pathetic, they haven't taken it down. This is on the Twitter feed right now. They doubled down on this yesterday. We have the receipts. This young man posted violent threats of murder against our law enforcement. He then deleted it when he was called out and attempted to deny all wrongdoing. We have the receipts. The internet is forever. This willful ignorance and intentional blindness by leading Democrats to the massive increase in violent rhetoric against our agents due to their actions is both disgusting and disappointing. Violence against our agents and officers must stop. So you see them claiming this is it. But y'all, we all know from the original video, cats were omitted. Like, they're omitted. Now, this is the original video right here. It says, you've seen what we can do. Don't say something that you can't finish, Iran. We all ready. United, we all stand. U.S. flag, we want all the smoke. Now, these dumbasses, with ICE go, they actually post this as if they have receipts. But this right here is the doctored video. You see the brother right there in the multicolored shorts, he's gone. You see the brother right there in the tan, he's gone. This is what they do. In Ome Congo, they could put this young brother in danger. I hope there's a lawyer out there that volunteers pro bono to sue DHS on behalf of this young brother for putting his life in danger.
There has to be somebody out there willing to do that. I mean, it's one thing when they talk about so many of these other guys, whether it's a Comey and all of those guys who they falsify things, you know, people who are of means, who can defend themselves and have great national and international reputations, but coming after a normal individual like this with doctored information, you know, one arrest of this guy, he's not able to get jobs. He's not able to work. What type of pressure? He's already experiencing death threats or putting out a video on Iran, you know, in U.S. in support of the United States. What about his family? When people start showing up at the door, I don't know his age. Is he in school? Like, are they going to start showing up at his school or the other kids' schools? I mean, not only are we dealing with the fact that they are taking these men, these young men who made a video using their art, but now they're making them also look like criminals. So we have the blackmail as thug stereotype, but then on top of that, you're saying these black thugs are coming for ICE. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's cowardly. They won't, and the fact that they won't take it down, they're probably doing more of it, or other people that we don't even know about. And we really haven't seen this story anywhere else, Roland. People need to rally around this man and his community, because I'm very nervous about what's going to happen. And Kristi Noem will have this guy arrested and go on Fox and call this guy a terrorist, Hamas sympathizer that we're not going to tolerate. And this, you can see the fear in his voice. It wasn't just about him being sick, in my opinion, and we need to rally around this. It's disgusting. It's despicable. Like I said, it's one thing to do it to the high-profile John Boltons of the world, which is all, you know, messed up, whether we care about them or not. But now we're going at the young people in the community who are using their art, and you're manipulating it, using AI and all of this other type of stuff to drum up cases. It's despicable, and I do hope this brother gets the representation he's going to need.
Ashley?
I'm confused. So, how old is he? Where are his parents? This is a very, very serious situation. So to hop on a trend of something like this really wasn't smart to begin with. I get it; they should not come for him, and AI can be tricky. They could have made it. It could have been a completely different situation. There was just an episode on Law and Order, and this teacher went to jail because they altered and put him in the video having considered it rape with a minor. So anytime you put these videos on the internet, they can be turned into anything. So I really think he shouldn't have hopped on the trend anyway. That's my opinion. But now he needs to get a lawyer.
Wait. Hey, he's responding to the bombing of Iran. So a bunch of people were doing that. So people do videos all the time. Okay, people can hop on a dance trend, any kind of trend. This is the federal government on a federal government Twitter account finding a doctored video, no verification, no fact check, and then condemning him when he was actually standing in support of the United States. So I'm not going to condemn them for doing a video where they were like, yo, Iran, we want to smoke.
But I don't think he's ready. Like you said, you hear fear in his voice. I hear confusion. I don't think he knows the magnitude. Every trend isn't a trend to hop on just because it's a trend.
But no. The fear in his voice is because the federal government took an altered video of him and other friends doing a video calling out Iran, and the federal government takes a video where they flipped it to say they want to align with the cartels to go after ICE agents. I'm sorry, the job of the government is to verify what the hell you put out. You don't just run with something you came across. This is an official government Department of Homeland Security account. I'm not chastising the brother. I'm chastising the Department of Homeland Security.
I'm chastising both.
Why? Why should the young brother get chastised?
On the internet. Because anytime you put something on the internet, it no longer belongs to you. We lost our freedom of speech. Look what's going on.
No. You can post something on social media and you can still have the integrity of what you said. If somebody alters what you said, that's not on you, that's on them. They should be called out. So what do we say? Okay, so based upon the logic you just gave, I should not post any clips on social media because somebody else may alter it. That makes no sense.
CapCut now has a disclaimer. The minute you use this, this belongs to us. We will do what we want.
Okay, no. You missed what I just said. What you're saying is, I got 1.5 million on the file. Got 1.5 million on Facebook, almost 800,000 on Instagram, 700,000 plus on Twitter, 100,000 on TikTok. Got Snapchat. Got fan base, Spoutable, Spill, LinkedIn, YouTube. So the point here, using your logic, I should not post anything on social because somebody else might take it, edit it to make it be completely different than what I said, and I'm at fault because of what they did. That makes no sense.
I'm saying when you post anything on Instagram, be mindful of the repercussions that you may suffer, period.
Okay, but this is a federal government agency. Ashley. Okay, Ashley. Okay, Ashley. So do you post on social? Okay, so if the federal government, if somebody took one of your posts and completely changed it to say, Ashley said, let's go kill ICE agents, and the federal government posted on their Twitter account, and somebody says, well, Ashley, it's your fault too because you posted it.
We're in a world with Donald J. Trump as president. I wouldn't do anything and post anything related to the federal government, to ICE.
It wasn't related. Okay, but the original post.
I understand. But
the original post wasn't related to the ICE or the federal government. It wasn't. The original post was on June 22nd, the day the United States bombed Iran.
Okay, united we stand. However, look at this though. Okay, so take the text out and look at this. What does this look like to you? If you take out, okay, united we stand, but if you look at this, what does this look like? We already look, this is like a racial profile. If you look at this, it already looks intimidating.
No, what it looks like is several young black men said, Iran, you want this smoke? Yeah, we got some for you. United States, we standing with the U.S. Hell, how many times people posted this after 9/11 or after anything else? Like literally, how are we blaming the brother?
I'm not blaming him.
You are. You literally said, well, you literally blamed him.
Yeah.
Again, in the America we're in now with Donald J. Trump being black, you can't do everything that they can do and think it's okay. He needs to get a lawyer now because you're going to have people who look like me, black and brown, who feel like, why would you do that? What type of smoke you going to give in a wife beater? Like, come on. Really? You need a lawyer. I'm in the middle.
There's no middle. Congo, go ahead.
Nah, there's no middle. I mean, all of us have videos out there, and the fact that that Donald Trump is the president doesn't give people shouldn't give people fear to say don't post anything. I mean, I can post a video walking with my son, and and people can take that and say these guys are coming for ICE agents, and it's just wrong. It's illegal. It's not only misinformation, it's disinformation. And again, they can literally do anything. They altered the picture to make sure the brothers with the brightest clothes were no longer in the image. I mean, people can take anything and do anything with it, but that doesn't mean that we're supposed to lose our freedom of speech. I'll be damned if I'm going to say freedom of speech is over because Trump is president. I'm sitting here with a book called Lies About Black People, and people can say that, oh my gosh, this is a terrorist author and so on and so forth. We're supposed to fight. We're supposed to resist. But again, at the end of the day, the brother had a patriotic video. in support of the United States. I didn't even see the flag until Roland pointed it out. He is not to blame for his artistic expression. And you say that, you know, they could do it to anybody. They are doing these types of things to all different types of people. But if that's the case, every rap video needs to be taken off right now. Every video that's out there needs to go because it can also be altered. We can't live like that. And this brother made this in June, like in June. What have people been making since? I posted like 3 videos today. Any one of them could be turned into some type of anti-ICE video. We're supposed to be able to speak our minds. We're supposed to have freedom of speech. And when people aren't even intentionally targeting the government and being made to look like they are, that's lawsuit worthy, and that has nothing to do with that brother.
And to make matters worse, they have had numerous people respond to them, and Donald Trump's Department of Homeland Security doubled down saying, we have the receipts. You got the receipts off of a doctored video and not the original. That's what these folks are. All right, let me go to a break. We come back. Another racist Donald Trump wants in his administration, but Politico dropped some text that he said some, let's just say, awful things about black people, and he said how he identifies as a Nazi. Yeah, we'll discuss that next. And Stephen A. continues to run his mouth about Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, but why does he keep getting his facts wrong? Yeah, it's time for a fact check. Folks, you're watching Roll Up Unfiltered on the Black Star Network. Support the work that we do. Join our Bring the Funk fan club. The goal is very simple. Get 20,000 of our fans contributing on average $50 each a year. $4.19 a month, 13 cents a day. If you want to support the work that we do, please join our fan club. The goal is to raise $1 million between now and the end of the year. Of course, to celebrate our 7th anniversary. Come on, show it. Come on, let's go. Thank you very much. Stripe QR code. You see it right there. If you want to give via Cash App, use that QR code. Also for credit cards, PayPal's R Martin Unfiltered, Venmo's RM Unfiltered, Zelle, Roland at RolandSMartin.com, Roland at RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Checks and money order. Make it payable to Roland Martin Unfiltered, P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C. 2003 7-0196. Back in a moment.
Afrotech, it's a lot of beauty, a lot of brilliance, a lot of intellect, a lot of innovation.
Companies that are most diverse are more profitable.
We're getting culture, we're getting community, we're getting the best of the best. And not only are we here to greet each other, but we're here to network and to elevate each other.
Everybody from all the major tech companies here, and that means that now everybody's in the same domain.
This is the premier event every year.
This is really where we could take off. You can go fast by yourself, but we go farther together.
This is where you're supposed to be.
As a pastor, I hear a lot about trips to the doctor, bills piling up, jobs being lost. So as your delegate, I went to work writing laws that protect families, helping parents care for their disabled children, capping insulin costs, lowering prescription prices, and investing in our police and schools. I'm Josh Cole, and as your delegate, I'm working to keep us strong and safe.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Godfrey, the funniest dude on the planet. And you're watching
Roland Martin Unfiltered.
Folks, the 18th Congressional District in Texas does not have a representative right now after the death of Congressman Sylvester Turner. He, of course, replaced Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee, who also passed away. That's because Texas Governor Greg Abbott refused to call a special election, forcing candidates to wait until November to actually run for the position. One of the folks who's running is his Texas State Representative, Jolanda Jones, who joins us right now. I'm glad to have you back on the show. Let's get right to it. First and foremost, because of the racist gerrymander, you're only going to have this position for a year if you're elected. Why do you want to do it? What can you contribute?
What can I contribute? I can fight for the constituents of Texas 18, first of all, because that's what, I mean, I've literally been elected 11 times in Texas 18. And I am just like, my family is just like the constituents of Texas 18 who are now suffering at the hands of Donald Trump. I mean, I'm a kid who grew up in a single family household. Actually, my parents started off together, sort of normal. My dad enlisted in the Marines, went to Vietnam, didn't come back the same. And he came back, he was depressed. We now know it was PTSD. He killed himself. I was with my father when he blew his brains out. I've had a whole bunch of counseling to overcome that. But immediately my family became led by a single mom who only ever wanted to be a housewife. And I mean, Roland, I could tell you we got evicted. 10th grade, our house burned down because we were using candles, didn't have electricity, and we went to school the next day. The point is, I got my eyes checked, I got my teeth cleaned, I got my vaccinations at the city health clinic in Herman Park. My mother is a postal worker, so she had a good government job, and she has a good retirement because she had a good government job. So I know the government needs to work for you. I know that every level of my education came from public school, elementary, middle school, high school, college, law school. So I know how important public education is and how you can go from coming in from a single parent household to being a lawyer and running for Congress and being a state representative. So somebody needs to understand the struggles of people. I mean, getting kicked off Medicaid, Medicare, and trying to rob us of our Social Security, which is poor people's retirement that we pay into. So you basically stealing from us. So yeah, that's why I'm running. And I'm running to fill the special election seat. And I'm hopeful, fingers crossed, that the courts strike down those racist maps so that there is not a fight between me and any other Black person. So that case is going on right now. But at the end of the day, Texas 18 needs a representative. We haven't had one in almost a year and a half, and this nonsense has to stop. And had I been elected with that big, ugly bill, it wasn't a beautiful bill, that big, ugly bill, that's anti everything that Black people and brown people and poor people and every other kind of person that's not white, male, and a billionaire, it's against everybody. I would have voted against it. It would have failed. So, yeah, I'm running. And again, I'm hopeful that there is no clash. But Texas 18 deserves someone sitting in that seat, and that person should be me.
Obviously, economics is a huge issue for every congressional district, including the 18th. And so what are your plans in that regard?
So economically, I absolutely would like for government contracts. You know, the government is the biggest doler outer of money in almost everything. So, for example, when Secretary Marcia Fudge was over HUD, I mean, there are a bunch of RFPs and RFQs going out. For people who don't know what that is, those are requests for proposal to do things for the government. I would make sure that we kept, well, actually, I would fight to make sure that we kept studies of race to see where the contracts are going, to make sure that Black people and brown people and women are able to compete for these contracts. That's helpful. In Texas 18, I'm hoping that Intercontinental Airport stays there because in the racistly gerrymandered districts, they took Intercontinental Airport out, Bush Airport, which is an economic engine. So those are the kinds of things that I will be doing. I will be meeting regularly with businesses who want to do business with the government and let them know what RFPs and RFQs are out there so that they can compete for government contracts. If they have to start off as subs, I'm going to put them in contact with primes. And if they want to compete to be the prime, I want to help them with that. So I want to help them build capacity. Those are the kind of things I'll do as it relates to business in Texas 18.
A lot of people have no clue how government works. Republicans control the House. You're used to that in Texas. So explain to people how, as a Democrat, I'm going to deal with Stephen A., his comments about Jasmine Crockett in a moment, but explain to people how politics works, even though Republicans may be in charge, how you actually get things for your district, even though they hold the power.
So let me talk about what happened in the state legislature really quickly, because it's sort of analogous in that it is majoritarily Republican. In the Texas House, there are 88 Republicans and 62 Democrats. To pass anything, you have to have 76. You have to have half of the 150 of us. And so if we only have 62, I literally have to go find 14 Republicans who were willing to vote with Democrats. And I did that. In the Senate, there are 20 Republicans and 11 Democrats, which means that I'd have to go find 5 senators who are willing to vote with Democrats in order to get any of my bills passed. I was able to get 3 bills on the governor's desk. Now, was I like, I mean, these are people who, when I first filed my bills, were against my bills because I'm a Democrat, right? But so it required me to go talk to people who I didn't have a lot in common with and explain to them why my bills were not quote unquote Democrat bills, why they were bills that were best for Texans. So, for example, one of my bills was to get actually innocent people out of jail. That's not Democrat or Republican. That's get innocent people out of jail. I got Joan Huffman, who was a right-wing Republican, to carry that bill because I helped her understand why if you have innocent people in jail, you're hurting Texas. Another bill that I got passed was putting local civics. Another bill that I got passed was putting local civics in schools. So I want for kids when they graduate from high school to be informed voters. And I don't want for them to go complaining to city council when they're mad at the school board. They need to know who the different governmental, quasi-governmental entities are so that they can be mad at the right person. The governor actually signed that bill back to my get actually innocent people out of jail bill. The governor, in his veto statement of that bill, said it was a common sense bill. But that was really in punishment for me not voting for a bunch of really anti everything that we stand for bills. I also got a bill for the Harris County Hospital District, which is where people who are poor go to get their health care. Well, there's a lot of violence there. The patients are getting beat up, and the people who work there are assaulted. And so it was hard to keep people working there, which meant that they couldn't give the health care that they needed, and they were paying a premium for law enforcement there because they'd have to hire police officers with extra jobs. So I got them a law enforcement agency so that patients are no longer going to get beat up and people are going to be safe in their workspaces. So I have been able to work across the aisle. I will do the same thing in Congress. I can tell you I've already been building relationships with members of the CBC. One of the people who contributed to my campaign is Congressman Clyburn, and I'm very proud of that. Another person who's contributed to my campaign is Representative Bonnie Watson Coleman. I could go on. Another person, I mean, I could go on. A number of CBC members have contributed to my campaign. And I believe that's because they'd like to work with me. Let me be clear. When I get into Congress, I get that I'll be a freshman. And I don't care how great of a freshman you are. All you have to do is remember how it was when you were in 8th grade and you went to 9th grade. Didn't matter how much of a sports star you were. When you got to 9th grade, the people on varsity, even if you happen to be on varsity, let you know you were a freshman. It's going to be the same way in Congress. So I've already started building relationships with senior members of Congress to help get money appropriated to Texas 18. Because I understand that I'll be one of the lowest people on the totem pole. And so people that I have started developing relationships, and I said, who have contributed to my campaign are like on the Appropriations Committee, on the Ways and Means Committee. Those are important committees.
Right.
So I've already started building those relationships.
Questions? Omekongo, you first.
First of all, Jolanda, I wanted to thank you for the courage and bravery that you showed when the Democrats in Texas, left and you refused to come back. I mean, it really was inspirational for all of us. And that kind of leads to my question. No doubt. What did that experience teach you as it relates to solidarity and moving forward that can give you a different type of energy and spirit that you would bring to Congress?
So, first of all, I don't feel like I had a choice of whether I went and whether I stayed because the times demanded it, civil rights demanded it. I was thankful that we as Democrats had the courage to leave at least for one session. Me personally, I was prepared to stay for as long as I needed to stay. So I was prepared to be gone until December, which would have killed the maps, period. But it gives me hope that we can one day stay together longer because I really didn't think we were going to quorum break at all because before we actually did it, there were so many people who just didn't want to do it. And so we were able to come together and at least prove a point for a small period. Again, for me, the quorum break was like my Montgomery bus boycott moment. They stayed gone for 380 something days. I was willing to stay gone as long as I needed to actually kill the maps. It didn't end up working out like that, although I did not go back to give them the quorum they needed to pass those racist maps that they ultimately passed. But I was hopeful for the time that we were away. I was so hopeful that I saw Black people coming together. I saw the Black media coming together. And I think as elected officials, we have to support Black media. We have to give them the scoops. I mean, that's why I spoke with Roland, I spoke with Joy, I spoke to Angela Rye, and I explained to them the maps. I gave receipts and I explained it because the seats that were stolen were Black seats. And Black faces needed to be the face of the quorum break because they were stealing from us. And, you know, people who aren't us, people who aren't of color, people who aren't Black struggle saying racist. But Black people, at least this Black person, me, Jolanda Jones, if it's racist, I'm going to call it racist. That's what I love about Roland. He always speaks truth to power. He's not afraid. When the white media tried to muzzle him, he said, you know what? I'm not about to stay with y'all. I'm going to create my own. And so that's what I believe as Black people. The only way we can move forward is for us to work in conjunction with the Black media, give them the stories, explain things to them so that they can help us amplify the problems that we know as elected officials are behind the walls, outside of the purview of people who aren't elected. And we need to make sure we tell regular people that what's actually going on, because there's nothing like playing in a game that's not real. And most politicians create fiction. They don't tell the truth.
Ashley, question?
Thank you for running, Jolanda. And earlier you mentioned Clyburn. In what ways, what contribution and impact do you feel that you're going to make specifically to the Black Caucus?
So first of all, I'm going to work with the Black Caucus, with the CBC, because we're under attack. I understood clearly what Trump is trying to do with these racist redistrictings. He literally is going to Republican states and he's targeting the CBC. It's not a coincidence that the CBC has the most seniority in Congress. So even if you are the minority party, if you have seniority, you're a ranking member of committees. So that is what he's trying to do. He's trying to give a whole bunch of mediocre white people positions and replace seasoned Congress people who know exactly what the hell is going on. And so I am going to work with the CBC, right? Obviously, there are things that we need in Texas 18. We need affordable health care. We need affordable housing. We need the police to stop messing with us. We need public education that's fully funded. We need all of those things, right? But what I'm going to do is figure out what the CBC, what plans we have going forward, and try to be a contributing part of that team. And hopefully in turn, they will help me get money appropriated to Texas 18. But I think that Black people in America are going to have the best chance to be represented successfully in Congress if the CBC runs as a team. I think we're going to be as strong as our weakest CBC member.
All right, then. Well, listen, it all comes down November 4th, Election Day. Representative Jolanda Jones, we appreciate to have you on the show. Thanks a lot.
Roland, early vote is going on now. It started today at 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. It's going on until October 31st, Halloween. So from today until October 31st is early vote. Election Day is November 4th. And please follow me on social media at Jolanda Jones. My name is spelled Jolanda Jones. And please visit my link, jolandajones.com. Donate, volunteer, but I'm in it to fight for the least, the last, and the lost. And I will be a part of the CBC because we're strong as our weakest member.
All right, then. Thanks a bunch.
Thank you. Thank you, Roland.
Folks, I'm going to go right into it. So, Donald Trump, he loves racists. I mean, loves racists. And the folks at Politico have broken another story on this racist who desperately wants to be confirmed by Congress. That's right. His name is Paul Ingracia. And it's quite interesting, y'all, little Paul. So here's a photo. Here's a photo of Paul with Donald Trump. Check this out. Here, look at Paul here, y'all. So let's just zoom right on in. So both of them got little thumbs up, all this sort of good stuff. Well, guess what, y'all? Paul is a racist. So this is a story from Politico. Trump nominee says MLK Jr. holiday belongs in hell and that he has Nazi streak according to text messages. So there was a group chat right here. And now, mind you, this person has a Senate confirmation hearing scheduled for Thursday. Donald Trump has nominated him to lead the Office of Special Counsel. Well, he was in a group chat. He was in a group chat with fellow Republicans and influencers. So check this out, y'all. This is the story. And so there's more photos of LaPaul here, and he used an Italian slur for black people, all these sort of different things. So Paul was kind of busy, y'all, on social media, sharing with us all of his racism. And so here's one of them here. MLK Jr. was the 1960s George Floyd, and his holiday should be ended and tossed into the seventh circle of hell where it belongs. One of the people in the chat goes, Jesus Christ. That was one of the comments. Now, check this out. He admitted in the chat, let's go back. I do have a Nazi streak in me from time to time. I will admit it. Oh, now we're admitting we like Nazis. He also put in one of the tweets, never trust a Chinaman or Indian. Never. Okay. All right. Thank you, Paul. Appreciate that. And then he posted, I said we're making Kwanzaa illegal in the next Trump administration. That was the gist of my tweet. No Mulignan holidays. That's the Italian slur for black people. From Kwanzaa to MLK Jr. Day to Black History Month to Juneteenth. Every single one needs to be eviscerated. And this is the person that Donald Trump wants to lead the Office of Special Counsel. That racist. Oh, look at Paul. So, Ashley, how do you think his Senate hearing is going to go on Thursday?
This is going to be interesting. Never trust a Chinaman. Like, this is all levels of racism at its best, and it's interesting that they can say whatever they want. So we can't. So this race is going to be very interesting. I would definitely be glued into this because it's just like they can get away with everything and say what they want.
I don't think that's going to fly, Ome Congo. Don't be surprised if Trump has to pull his name, because I don't see Republicans defending that level of racism, especially the Nazi streak.
I think that's going to be interesting. I mean, at the end of the day, they didn't confirm Ed Martin. But the challenge with that is that people like Ed Martin still get positions within the government if Trump likes you. So I think it would be great to see the Senate, stand up. I mean, they put so many other horrible appointees in office. It's disgusting. But it would be great to see them stand up to him. But this is one of the guys that J.D. Vance will call, just kids being kids. I mean, the man is 30 years old. And so it seems like as it relates to Trump, like, being a racist, being somebody who has some type of sexual assault or case of harassment case, like, these are resume builders for Trump. So the way that these guys keep finding their way to the top, it's absolutely ridiculous. But I do feel like at some point, these guys in the Senate are going to have another breaking point, as they had Ed Martin. And I believe that this has to be the guy. Now, if this political chat stuff didn't come out, I feel like there's still enough out there on him that people would have known. So the fact that he got this far is problematic. But yeah, if this happens, Roland, wow. But yeah, I'm with y'all. I can't see it happening.
Folks, one more thing before I go to the break, and that is, if you want to talk about how shameful and despicable Donald Trump is. Y'all remember when they announced that, they were going to be building this new ballroom on the grounds of the White House. And Donald Trump said that we're not going to be touching the White House. This is the renderings that they actually released, showing this ballroom that's going to be 3 times as large as the East Room, and it can accommodate 650 people, and it's going to cost $200 to $250 million. And they released this here, what it's going to look like on the inside. And he wants a new ballroom similar to the one that he has at Mar-a-Lago, and just, oh my goodness, and how amazing and exciting this is going to be, this whole new ballroom. Now remember, he said it was not going to impact the White House at all. It was not going to impact at all. It's very interesting that he said that, y'all, because when you actually look at this, the Washington Post posted this story that this is what the east side of the White House looks like right now. Oh,
whoa!
Wow.
He said, "Oh no, we're not going to touch it at all. We're not going to touch it at all. It's not going to be touched at all." Now, there's also a process because the White House is a historic building. But see, Donald Trump don't give a shit about laws. His whole deal is, I'm going to do whatever. Here's another photo on social media someone posted of the east side of the White House. And there are more. Yes, that's another photo. And so here are just some more photos right here that people posted. Here was a video that somebody posted. Again, y'all, this is the east side of the White House. So again, see, Trump's whole deal is I can do whatever the hell I want to. I don't give a damn about rules. This is somebody here who posted a time-lapse video of them tearing portions of it down. You see it right here. Yeah, that's what they're doing. So remember, he said, "Oh yeah, we're not going to do." So and I've walked through, like right here, y'all. I've walked through. This is that eastern portion. So what happens is when you go to the White House, and they have events there, normally what happens is you're walking through that east portion. Matter of fact, I'm going to try to find some videos. I was there for, my goodness, I was there last for the Christmas party that took place at the White House. And so what happens is you normally are walking through eastern portion, you get in order to get to the White House. And in the eastern portion of the White House, let me see, I'm trying to think. So Biden, they had the Christmas party. Give me 1 second, y'all. They had the Christmas party there. That was in December. It was in December. I know I shot a video. It was so I think that was around December 6th or so, something like that, when they had the Christmas party. And so normally what happens is you walk through the eastern portion to get to the White House, and you go through down the hallway. Well, that's all gone now because Donald Trump wants to build his latest monument. Now, keep in mind, this is the same idiot who did. You want to talk about some pathetic stuff? Remember the wonderful Rose Garden that was built by Jackie Kennedy? Well, Donald Trump eviscerated that and just paved over the Rose Garden because he wanted this patio very similar to what he has at Mar-a-Lago. So he's basically turning the White House into another Mar-a-Lago. That's what he's actually doing here. And you know, talk about just shameful and despicable, Omekongo, the destruction he's causing. And I'm telling you right now, I saw Joe Walsh hit a tweet. Joe Walsh said that if I was running for president, he said one of my campaign slogans would be, "I'm taking a sledgehammer to that damn ballroom and tearing that sucker down and restoring the White House to what it was before this thug arrived."
Yeah, and it's one thing to have this president take a hammer to all of our institutions, and it's tragic and it's problematic, and it's all of the descriptors that we use. But to see like basically the physical hammer, being taken to an institution, a physical institution like the White House, and just tear it down, it's just really a reminder of how this man is committed to destroying everything and rebuilding it in his image. And as this man is sending billions to Argentina, as he is taking jets from Qatar, and he's using millions of dollars, people claim they know where it's coming from to rebuild the White House while Americans are struggling in every way, shape, or form imaginable, given like what we just saw with Hakeem Jeffries. Man is a one-man representative of the Gilded Age on steroids. And I just wonder how long it's going to be before American people, are showing up regularly at the White House, in protest, driving their trailers down there, driving whatever down there, to let people know that we're not going to stand for this. But this man, what we'll see when he was in the meeting last week, over in Egypt, talking with one of the presidents, I'm going to introduce you to my son, I'll set up that meeting. The corruption is real. It's evident in everything that we're doing. But seeing him strike that hammer, like literally with that machine, to destroy one of America's institutions again so he can have a ballroom. But also, Roland Martin is also a reminder that he is somebody who does not plan on leaving the White House. And that's why he's trying to create it in Mar-a-Lago's image.
Ashley, what people don't understand is that, we know the history. What happens is when they have large events there, when they have large events in the White House, listen, they just have it under a tent. They have it on the South Lawn because you're not having events all the time. No, this dumbass, he wants to go ahead and erect this building that's not going to be used all the time. That's why they typically have events in the East Room, because it can hold the folks. And guess what? If you need larger events, they erect tents, they put them up, they take them down. No, his whole deal is, now what the hell? We're going to spend $250 million of the people's money because I can do whatever the hell I want and I don't care. So he lied. He straight up lied. He lied about how it was not going to touch the White House. And I'm sure Carolyn Levitt, his chief liar, is going to defend his lying, more and more of his lying.
He's only going to be there 3 and a couple more months, 3 years and a couple more months. I cannot believe he's doing this. The former presidents are probably rolling over in their graves. So,
well, actually, no, wait, we do have several that are still alive. So not everybody's rolling over in their graves. Biden's still here. Biden's still here. Obama's still here. George W. Bush is still here. Bill Clinton is still here. Go ahead.
Not still here, because Biden got up and said, even Vice President Kamala Harris, when they were shouting at her at her press conference, she said, "Look, I'm not your president." So everybody who's still living, they already pissed. But those who can't even say anything, the legacy that's been built, 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, we're not supposed to do certain things. But the fact that he just does not get permission shows disrespect.
Don't care.
It shows narcissism. It shows just. He's wild for this one. He's
a liar. He's a narcissist and a liar. This was from Christmas, when they had the White House Christmas party. So basically, this right here, y'all, this entryway, it's gone. It's torn down. This was the hallway that you walk down the hallway in the East Wing to get into the West Wing. That's torn down as well. And so what you see, the building across the street, that's the Treasury Department. So all of this portion you're seeing right here, where again you walked into the side of the East Wing. All of these columns and everything, all that's been torn down to make way. So this is the hallway as well. It's all torn down to make way for Trump's pathetic ass ballroom. And so that's what you got going on there. All right, folks, got to go to break. We come back. Stephen A. Smith continues to rip into Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett. I have no idea why. Listen, you can give your opinion all day, but please get your facts straight. I got a fact check next. Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network.
Lil Thompson with winwithblackmen.org. You're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered.
All right, y'all. Last couple of weeks, been a lot of people talking about Stephen A. Smith making comments criticizing Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett and how she handles herself in the criticism of Donald Trump. So he made the initial comments on his Sirius XM radio show. And then like a week ago, we addressed that. And so, roll. So these were the initial comments, okay? Just so let's roll the initial comments. We have the initial comments. Go ahead and roll that and go ahead.
How Jasmine Crockett chooses to express herself, I'm like, is that going to help your district in Texas? Aren't you there to find a way to get stuff done as opposed to just being an impediment to what Trump wants? How much work goes into that? I'm just going to go off about Trump, cuss him out every chance I get, say the most derogatory, incendiary things imaginable, and that's my day's work. That ain't work. Work is saying, that's the man in power. I know what his agenda is. I'm not exactly in a position to stop him since the Republicans have the Senate and the House. But maybe if I'm willing to work with this man, I might get something out of it for my constituency. Because like Joe Manchin said, he's there to represent, or was there for 15 years to represent, the people of West Virginia. She's supposed to be there to represent the people of Texas. I don't know. Maybe that just sounds ignorant because it's so simple. But it ain't that damn complicated. We make it complicated. Damn, it's frustrating. It really can be.
All right, two things Stephen A. said is correct. He says it's not that complicated and it's simple. Yeah, facts are extremely simple. And he doesn't even know any of the facts. He literally has no clue what he's talking about. None. Okay, so a week ago we addressed it. So then the folks at the Pivot, they got their interview with Stephen A. And so then he decided to comment again on Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett.
You know, the other day, because they said I was insulting Jasmine Crockett. Why you got to call out the sister? Because the sister's the one sounding like that. I know she's intelligent. I know she's accomplished. I know she's smart. That's not what I said. What I said was, that's not how you sounded. You sounded belligerent talking about the president. You're a representative representing the state of Texas in your district in Texas. They didn't send you there for that. They sent you there to find a way to get what you can for us while he's in office, while assisting him getting out of office so you could get somebody in there who's more favorable to my district. Same thing with AOC. Same thing with Eric Swalwell in California. Same thing with any elected official. Your job is not to go there and say, derail the president. I could do that. You're a representative. You're an elected official. You're on Capitol Hill. What are you doing? You're supposed to be working. You cannot be working if all you're saying is, I don't care what he comes up with. I'm not agreeing to it. You can't, listen, you can't figure out what, listen, he's the president. I don't like it. But damn, he gonna be here till 2028. I got 100,000, 200,000, 300,000 constituents to deal with. Let me see what I can get.
All right, this weekend, before I get into it, a lot of people have been ripping Stephen A. for his comments. Tamika Mallory, co-founder of Until Freedom, she said this here. She said, black men have a question. I see a lot of great commentary from many of you on Stephen A. Smith's ignorant statements from time and time again. This time he disrespected a powerful black woman who's putting her life in danger, fighting for us. At what point will you all lead the charge to turn him off? Then Bakari Sellers made some comments, and then Stephen A. took offense to that. And here's just some of what Bakari said.
What Bakari Sellers needs to recognize is, why don't you tell what the truth is? Why don't you speak about the level of resentment that you really, really have? That the American people are more willing to listen to somebody like me or the others that you mentioned rather than you, who's been doing this for years, out of South Carolina and then some. Nobody care what you...
So that's a whole bunch of nonsense back and forth. And then I know what it is. I only want to show a little bit. So then Bakari speaks.
Usually I ascribe to the notion that you don't roll around with pigs because you both get muddy and the pig likes it, or you never argue with fools because people who are watching can't tell the difference. But I thought it was necessary just for me to respond and be extremely clear about my issue. And Stephen, is this. I utilize words like charlatan because you use your platform, one that you've grown with great success, a very large platform that people listen to. But you use your platform to tear down the people who are actually in our communities doing the work. That is
all right, so you can go to social media, you look at Bakhar's full response, okay? See, but I'm not getting to the name calling and getting all this sort of back and forth. I deal in facts. And this is what I've said. I've said this to Stephen A. himself, that Stephen A., you need to deal in facts. If you're going to get out here and start saying stuff, at least be factual. So in the pivot clip, he talked about that Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett was there to represent Texas. No, he's wrong. Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett represents the 30th Congressional District. That's just the district. Now, in the same comment, Stephen A. said that Jasmine Crockett said that Jasmine Crockett represents 100, 200,000, 300,000 people. No, Stephen A., you're wrong. Go to my iPad. This is literally from her site about the Congresswoman. Home to over 750,000 North Texans, Texas's 30th Congressional District is a vibrant community in the heart of the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, featuring both Dallas and Tarrant counties. Stephen A., you said 100, 200, 300,000. No, it's 750,000. Stephen A., if you know anything about politics, you will know that congressional districts are apportioned to be about the same size. There are 435 congressional districts, about similar populations. Some have a little bit more people, some have fewer, but it's about the same. They are apportioned that way for a reason. So then you're wrong. Then you said that, well, you know, all she does is sit here and all she does is just complain about Trump and she's not doing any work, and I don't know what she's doing, and that's what you said, Stephen A. I mean, that's what you said, and it's kind of right here on the website. See, this is why research matters. See, you can pop off and run your mouth and just be loud. And I find it interesting you're criticizing her for the exact same thing that you do on First Take every day. But she also has facts in here. So this is literally right here. It's literally right here. It lays out what she did in the state legislature. It lays out, boom, she was elected as freshman leadership in the 19th. She's appointed the vice-ranking member of the House Oversight Committee. She serves on the House Judiciary Committee. She's appointed the Communications Task Force co-chair for the Democratic Women's Caucus. I mean, it literally lays out what she does. And so then Stephen A. makes this comment about how she's wrong, and she's wrong, and she's wrong about this, and she's just popping off, and that's not what he sent her for. Let me ask you a question, Stephen A. Are you a voter in the 30th Congressional District of Texas? I know who he is, Stephen A. Yep. My homestead in Texas resides in the 30th Congressional District. I am a voter. So when you go on the Pivot and your Sirius XM radio show and CNN and News Nation, and here's the deal, I don't care. Go on all those shows. When you go on all those shows and you say what the voters of the 30th Congressional District did not send Jasmine Crockett to do, how do you know that when you aren't one of them? I am. And the fact of the matter is, Stephen A., the voters of the 3rd Congressional District did send Jasmine Crockett to fight MAGA. We did send Jasmine Crockett to fight for the voters. We did send Jasmine Crockett to fight the agenda. Now it's very interesting when you go on television and you sit here and proclaim what the voters of District 30. Okay, Stephen A., this is a fact. This is the results from the November 2024 election. Jasmine Crockett received 84.9% of the votes cast, Stephen A. Where I come from, Stephen A., that's called a resounding victory. When more than 200,000 votes are cast, more than 239,000 votes are cast, and Crockett got 197,650 of them. So it's pretty arrogant of you to say what the voters of the 30th Congressional District did not send her to do when she's doing exactly what the voters sent her to do. So then, Stephen A., you go on and you start talking about how, how she has to work with Trump. Not really, Stephen A. You love talking about the Constitution. Have you actually read it? I would ask this question of you, Stephen A. Do you know how money is appropriated in the United States? It doesn't start at that building that's 2 blocks from me right now, 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. Stephen A., let me help you out. The president presents a budget. Congress is under no obligation, Stephen A., to respond to the president's budget. Do you know why? Go to my iPad, Anthony. It is called the Appropriations Clause, Stephen A. In the United States Constitution, Stephen A., it states that anything dealing with money must originate in the U.S. House of Representatives. The U.S. House, not the White House. So when you go on and on and on, talking about how she's got to work with this man, no, she doesn't, Stephen A., because he doesn't appropriate money. The House does. And when a bill passes the House, Stephen A., it goes to the Senate. And then the Senate could very well pass their own bill. And if they do, the Senate and the House go into conference. They have to reconcile the bills. Once they reconcile the bills, the House revotes, the Senate revotes, and if passed, it goes to the president for a signature. Now, Stephen A., you said that she needs to work with him. You don't know jack about how things work in the House, Stephen A. You said, oh my God, she got to work with him. Okay, that's interesting. Here's an actual letter. See, what I did, Stephen A., was instead of running my mouth, I actually called. I did research. And this is a letter that was sent May 11th, 2023. This was under Biden. And this is a bipartisan effort from between Republicans and Democrats to deal with a particular project in Texas. It's dealing with ARPA H. Look at this. We write to express our strong support in the selection of Texas as ARPA H's customer experience hub, with Pegasus Park in Dallas serving as the site for physical office space. This right here, Stephen A., is a bipartisan effort. Oh, Stephen, do you see that? That's the signature of Jasmine Crockett. On the right side is the signature of Kay Granger, unfortunately, who has dementia now, no longer a member of Congress. See, Stephen A., the reason I'm quite familiar with Kay Granger, because I covered City Hall in Fort Worth when she was the mayor. And so here's an effort where Jasmine Crockett worked with a Republican from Tarrant County, Texas, to secure this project. That's called working across the aisle. Operative word there, Stephen A., is working. You question, she's just there running her mouth. March 6, 2024 press release. Crockett secures $10.4 million for local projects in first package of government funding for fiscal year 2024. Representative Crockett championed funding for 11 projects that would directly benefit Texas's 30th congressional district under this bill. They include $600,000 for the Bonton Farms Bayer Resource Center, $959,000 for the city of Lancaster for wastewater improvement projects, $500,000 for the University of North Texas at Dallas College of Law, $850,000 for Fair Park First Development for the community park at Fair Park, $850,000 for the city of Grand Prairie for expansion of Lake Ridge Bridge, $1.6 million to the city of DeSoto for Hampton Road redevelopment, $500,000 to Texas Trust for public land for Judge Charles R. Rose Community Park, $2.5 million to the city of Dallas for enhancements to the Martin Luther King Jr. Community Center, $850,000 for renovation of Park South Family YMCA, $200,000 for technical improvements at DeSoto Regional Jail, $1 million to the city of Cedar Hill for U.S. Highway 67 Tidwell Bridge and intersection improvements. That, Stephen A., was for fiscal year 2024. Now, I'm sure you're watching, Stephen A., you're probably saying to me, before I go to that one, let me just also add to this. There was another story here. It was a Dallas Morning News story. Let me see if I can pull it up here, where Representative Crockett let me go ahead and give me 1 second, because I do want to show this here. Because again, when you go on podcasts and you claim that all she does is run her mouth and she doesn't do any work, then when you have receipts showing the work, it's kind of like exposes you literally don't know what you're talking about. And there was another where she worked with, I'm gonna look at it this way. Right here, this is March 15, 2024. Crockett already announced $80 million investment to connect Dallas neighborhoods through bipartisan infrastructure law. That was a bill under Biden-Harris. They got $80 million. Now, again, Stephen, you're probably sitting there saying, well, okay, Roland, that's fine because it's under Biden. Well, Stephen, you may not be aware, but that was an appropriation bill that Congress was going to vote for. And Trump ordered them not to vote for it. So what does that mean? That means that the projects that were supposed to happen didn't get funded. So what has happened in 2025? Well, Stephen A., there's a government shutdown right now. Why is there a government shutdown? Because it's a continuing resolution. And a continuing resolution means let's continue to vote to keep things as they are. No new projects. See, one of the things that, again, this is what happens, Stephen A., when you don't know shit about how government works. Members of Congress get to submit in the appropriations bill multiple projects. And what happens is, when they're going through the budget process, members of Congress get to submit the proposals. Now, again, this is why you gotta be careful, Stephen A., when you're just running your mouth and you don't know jack about politics. Go to my iPad, Anthony. In the U.S. House of Representatives, each member of Congress, each member, that's 435, Stephen A., Republicans and Democrats, they are allowed to submit a maximum of 15 community project funding requests, CPF, also known as earmarks, during the annual appropriation process. While this is a common limit for House members, the rules for congressionally directed spending in the Senate are different. What does it say right here? Each member is capped at 16. Funding was available only to state and local governments and certain nonprofit organizations. All submitted requests are required to be posted publicly on the member's website. And it details all these different things. Well, Stephen A., the problem is the House hasn't voted on the appropriations bill. That's what the continuing resolution. See, the reason we're in a government shutdown because the Republicans want to pass a CR, a continuing resolution, to fund the government as is until November 21st, so they can eventually actually pass an appropriations bill. So when you say she's just popping off criticizing Trump, well, Stephen A., the Republicans, Speaker Mike Johnson, has had the Democrats for 72 of the last 84 days not in session. Okay. So when you say, how many bills has the House passed in 2025? They passed 90 laws, but many of them really aren't even significant. They're not even major laws. So, Stephen A., when you say she needs to be working, well, it's kind of hard, Stephen A., to work, meaning pass bills, when the Republicans can't even pass bills because they in a recession. And so, you're a member, you sit on congressional committees. You do congressional work. Those things actually happen. We have a segment here called the Crockett Chronicles, where we often will show her speaking on the committee that she actually sits on. That's actually called work. Oh, so your argument, Stephen A., is that Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett should be watching her tone and what she's saying, because she needs to watch how she talks, because she's going to work with this man to get stuff for her district. I've already explained to you, Stephen A., that every member, regardless of whether you're Republican or Democrat, you get a maximum of 15 requests. Oh, okay. So allow me to show you some evidence, Stephen A., of what happens when you are a Republican. Can y'all pull the Nancy Mace story up? Do y'all have that? Do I need to pull it up? Okay. So, Nancy Mace rips Biden infrastructure bill. Let me show you this here, Stephen A. Nancy Mace is a Republican out of South Carolina. Nancy Mace ripped it as socialist. She called it, she trashed Biden. She did all this sort of stuff. I mean, she dogged Biden all the time. And man, she was just oh my God, it was just going on and on. Oh, Senator Tommy Tuberville, Stephen A., was just dogging Biden. This is just spending too much money. He was just going on and on and on. They were trashing Biden, Harris, left and right. But what happened, Stephen A., when the bill passed? Because Democrats had votes and Biden signed it. What happened? Go to my iPad, Anthony. GOP celebrates vital infrastructure investments they voted against. So, Stephen A., the very same people who badmouthed, dogged Biden, Harris, said this was socialism, said it was wasteful spending, they just said all kind of stuff. Oh my God, they start taking credit for the money. You think I'm lying? Oh, look at this. August 20, this is an article from Yahoo, from the Daily Beast, Stephen A., dated August 20th, 2025. Nancy Mace brags about helping secure historic infrastructure funds she voted against. Ain't that something? On Newsmax, she talked about her ties to Trump, her record of delivering for South Carolinians, but she voted against the bill, Stephen A. Here's a photo of Biden signing the law. So, I'm just curious, Stephen A. Did you call out Nancy Mace for her tone trashing Biden? Did you call out Tuberville for his tone trashing Biden? Did you call out Jim Jordan for his tone? Did you call out Randy Fine? Did you call out Matt Gaetz? Did you call out any Republican? I mean, my God, we got the video. We got tons of videos, Stephen A. Did you call out any of these Republicans and tell them you should watch your tone? Your job is to fight for your constituents. Your job is to bring things back. You shouldn't be saying these things. You shouldn't be saying that your agenda is to stop Biden, because that's what they said. I recall McConnell saying it, Thune saying it. I can recall numerous, Mike Johnson, Kevin McCarthy. We can go on. I can recall so many Republicans trashing Biden, Harris, left and right, calling them communists, socialists, Marxists, running the country into the ground financially. Yet when the bill passed, because Biden picked up 13 Republican votes, they took credit. Do y'all have that Biden soundbite? See, so Biden called out the Republicans. Biden called them out. He called them out, said, for taking credit. But again, I'm just trying to understand. Did Stephen A. call out any Republicans for the vicious language they used criticizing Biden, but then taking credit when the money starts showing up? What is the point I'm making here? The point I'm making here is real simple, Stephen A. You literally don't know anything about Congress. You know nothing about how the House works. You know about basketball, NFL, all sort of stuff like that. You don't know anything about this. You've done no research, Stephen A. You've done no studying. You can't even get the most basic fact correct, which is how many people she represents in the 30th Congressional District. You can't even get that right. And so here's why you get criticized, because you pop off not knowing what you're talking about. And so you're trying to tell her how she needs to work with Trump when she doesn't work with Trump. In fact, she doesn't even meet with Trump, Stephen A. Trump meets with Democratic congressional leaders. Who is that? House Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer. That's who deals with Trump. They deal with leadership. So if you're going to criticize Jasmine Crockett for her tone and how she's not doing her job, are you going to tell your audience on Sirius XM, and when you go on News Nation, and when you go on CNN, and all the rest of these places, are you going to tell them what she actually accomplished? Are you going to bother actually talking with a voter of the 3rd Congressional District? Because I'm one. My dad's one. My mom's one. My sister's one. Her daughter's one. The neighbors are voters. I could get you 100 or 200 or 500 to talk with. This is the problem. Stephen A., you make it easy for people to criticize you. And look, we cool. You can text me, I can text you, we can talk, we can communicate. I'm fine with all that. You can give your opinion. You can say, Crockett, her tone is wrong. But I better hear you calling Republicans out. But let's say you don't even do that. That's all. Fine. You can criticize Jasmine Crockett all you want to. But bro, you gotta get your facts straight. And you're popping off and running your mouth, and none of your facts are straight. And that's what makes you look silly. And see, had you had your facts straight, I would not have had to do this segment. Because I would have had nothing to work with. But you exposed yourself for your lack of political knowledge. And what's happening is these television bookers are putting you on because you are in quote mode. You say things that go viral, and they get excited by that. So guess what? The bookers at CNN and the bookers at Newsday, that's why Chris Cuomo ain't got no ratings. That's why he pulled Bill O'Reilly out the crypt and got you debating him. We know what all that is, and that's fine. Guess what? I don't care. That's great. But bruh, just do this. If you go on TV, and let me be real clear, when I did First Take 2 or 3 times, when I sat in for Michael Smith on His and Hers, I studied. I didn't come on the air just saying whatever. I brought facts about sports. So if I can do some studying about sports and speak from a factual base, bruh, you need to do the exact same thing. Talk about politics. Because if you don't, you're going to get dismissed as a blowhard. And I know you don't want to be seen as just somebody who's full of hot air. Ain't no facts backing them up. So do better before you start giving political advice. Call some people. Do some research. But stop saying stuff as factually incorrect. We'll be back.
In the military, I gave orders, and they went a lot further than they do around here. If there's one thing I've learned as a mom and foster parent of more kids than I can count, investing in their future isn't a choice. In Richmond, I'll fight for Stafford's fair share for our schools. Smaller class sizes, better teacher pay, and more vocational training.
I'm Stacey Carroll, and I'll fight to get our kids' future in order.
This week on The Other Side of Change.
Book bans, anti-intellectualism, and Trump's continued war on wisdom.
This is a coordinated backlash to progress. At the end of the day, conservatives realized that they couldn't win a debate on facts. They started using our language against us, right? Remember when we were all woke and the woke movement and all that kind of stuff? Now everything is anti-woke, right? When we were talking about including diversity, equity, inclusion, higher education, now it's anti-DEI. All this are efforts to suppress the truth because truth empowers people.
You're watching The Other Side of Change only on the Black Star Network.
This is Eric Dickerson, and you're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered.
Well, as white and black pastors continue to call out racism, especially with these white pastors and their all of their white Christian nationalism, here is Bishop Paul Morton of Atlanta.
Bless you. I greet you in divine love. Listen, as a black preacher, I'm disappointed by many of our white evangelicals. I just need to know, when did they change their mind? Southern Baptists, white evangelicals, formed in 1845 by white Baptists who split from Northern Baptists over an issue of slavery and racism that Southern Baptists practiced. But in 1995, I thought they broke that racist generational curse because they apologized for their forefathers. Why did they change their mind? Or did they believe in their apology? It was wrong how Charlie Kirk died, but to get the Presidential Medal of Honor, to have the flag lowered in his honor, when his message was about degrading black people, to say Dr. Martin Luther King, who sacrificed his life for black freedom, was a bad man, to say he would be scared to get on a plane if he saw a black pilot, he would want to know, is he qualified? To say black women are not as smart as white women. And white evangelicals, that's your hero? Have you allowed a racist, unrepented criminal guilty of fraud, sex abuse, lying, 34 convicted crimes to poison your heart? Many want a law to make America a Christian nation. America is not a Christian nation, but it's a nation with Christians in it, because a racist life does not represent Christianity. Taking from the poor and giving to the rich does not represent Christianity. You should know your Bible. Christianity cannot be a forced law. It must be a choice from the heart, not a shotgun wedding. You have a form of godliness, but denying the power thereof. If there is no love, the Bible says you're like a sounding brass and tinkling cymbal that does not represent God.
Well, guess what? Pastor Rick Warren had a few things to say about white folks and racism.
You don't like the Bible, because the Bible says you're no better than anybody else, and nobody else is any better than you. You were made in the image of God, but so was everybody else, regardless of their background or their color or their religion or their relationships or whoever they are. You're not any better than anybody else, and nobody's any better than you. You have dignity, and you are deeply loved by God. God has never made a person he doesn't love. God has never made a person he doesn't have a purpose for. God has never made a person who was not made in his image. We believe that. Why? Because the Bible says that. Second thing that we believe is, because of that, racism is sin. It's not optional. Don't call yourself a Christian if you think you're better than somebody else. That's what I just read. Don't call yourself a Christian. Because racism is not a skin issue, it's a sin issue. Racism is actually a form of idolatry. It says, I know better than God, and I can choose who's good and who's not. No, you're not. You can't do that, because you're not God, and I'm not God. And so we, in this church, reject all bigotry, all white supremacy. We reject all prejudice. We reject all racism. And so let me just try to be as clear as I can if you're new to Saddleback. If you think prejudice, racism, and bigotry is okay, you're not gonna like this church. You're not gonna like it for three reasons. First, you're gonna have a problem with me as the pastor, because you're not gonna like what I say, because I'm gonna teach what God says, not what you like to hear. And so you're gonna have a problem with me.
Now, that was in 2017, responding to the racist murderer Dylan Roof. Now, in 2020, David Platt, the pastor of McLean Bible Church in Virginia, talked about his struggles with racism as a white pastor.
There are members and pastors of this church who've made great sacrifices to be here because they're committed to a multi-ethnic community. And so I just want to say from my position, I want to sacrifice more of my preferences as a white pastor. I need to grow in my laying aside of preferences for members of this body because I want Christ to be exalted through increasing diversity in our leadership and our membership. On a related note, I do not want to speak from the Bible on issues that are popular among white followers of Christ while staying silent in the Bible on issues that are important to non-white followers of Christ. That's not faithful pastoring. I actually read this week how studies have shown that white church leaders are less likely to speak and act prophetically on race issues because white church leaders have more to lose when they do. Basically, if you want to draw a crowd in general, stay away from racial issues. And if you want to draw a crowd of white people or black people or this type of person or that type of person, then stay away from saying any one of those types of people is part of the problem on racial issues. Because the reality is people mainly want to be comforted when they come to church. And as people, we're naturally drawn to that which brings the most benefit with the least cost. So if you give people a choice between the church of comfort and the church of comfort, but you need to make sacrifices to change your life, people will choose the church of comfort most every time. Which is why we've designed so much of the church culture the way we have today. And it's why we're so prone not to talk about issues that are uncomfortable to us. And I just want us to see that the Bible doesn't give us that option. Like Amos 5 doesn't give us that option. We cannot truly worship God while we stay silent on injustice in all kinds of areas. And I know as a white pastor, I have blind spots. So I am part of the problem. I need friends and fellow pastors around me from different ethnicities who help me see those blind spots. And I'm committed to listening and learning and loving, laying aside whatever contemporary church growth methodology says is the best way to grow the church, i.e. ignore the issues. I want us to do the exact opposite. I want us to hear God's word clearly on these issues, and then we can trust him with the growth of his church.
See, Makongo, the issue we're dealing with, and granted, this is 2020. We had Pastor Deese on talking about white Christian nationalism. And what both of these pastors said, one in 2017, one through 2020, is just a reality. White preachers don't want to confront whiteness. They don't want to speak to it. And so they got all this stuff today praising Charlie Kirk, but they want to look over the stuff that he said. This Paul Ingracia guy. I can't wait to hear these white conservative evangelicals call out this man saying, oh, I got a Nazi streak. I can't wait to hear him call it racism. They're not, because they prefer his conservative views over his racist views. And some of them actually like both.
Yeah, that's real. That's real. And I really feel like at the end of the day, seeing some of these pastors speak up is extremely important, because the way that Trump is looked at as some type of messianic figure, and the way that these evangelicals have used him as a vessel to get so many of their other policies initiated, I feel like that is starting to resonate with some other, white members of the clergy, and they're starting to speak up. But really, at the end of the day, they've been silent for so long. I'm hoping that their words can actually resonate at this point. But you're right, Roland. Too many of these folks have been comfortable. They wanted to just have people come to their churches and say, just don't speak, we're a house of God and we're just going to leave it at that. But now they see the way that Trump is twisting their religion, even people who aren't, exactly priests yet, like James Tallarico, is running for Senate and I believe is a minister. Correct me if I'm wrong. But he's also not afraid to be able to speak up and talk about his faith and talk about his religion. And this is extremely important, because these Republicans and MAGA and these so-called evangelicals and these so-called Christians have used that Bible to thump people over the head, whether it's with their anti-LGBTQ rhetoric, whether it's just so many various policies that it's extremely hypocritical. And I'm starting to feel like some of these white pastors have had enough. They can't continue to let this stuff be caught. Now I'm talking about white pastors who don't identify as evangelicals. I'm talking about other folks who are out there in this space, and it's extremely necessary. It can't just be the non-white pastors, the non-white members of the clergy who are calling out the hypocrisy of these evangelicals. That's not going to be the way to go forward. We need solidarity on this, and I'm glad some are finally speaking out.
But more need to speak out. Ashley, pure and simple.
Christians battle sin, not skin. He was brave for making a similar statement because it's so apparent that these white pastors really just wanted growth. And then now, I mean, everybody wants to have this mega church, but now, like you said, they're standing up and they're fighting it. I mean, I'm glad he admitted, I mean, it's 2020, so you admitted your blind spots, but how does he feel now in 2025, right? But yeah, it's just Christians battle sin, not skin. It's interesting.
Well, bottom line is truth has to be spoken. Folks, that's it for us. We're going to reschedule our breast cancer awareness guest. I went long with the Stephen A segment. Some stuff just needs to be said. So, Ome Congo, Ashley, I appreciate y'all being on today's show. Thank you so very much. Folks, tomorrow we're going to be live in Fredericksburg, Virginia. That's right, for our second town hall, Our Voices, Our Vote. We look forward to being there. That's right, Vision Community Church live at 6 p.m. Doors open at 5 o'clock. I'd love to see y'all there. We'll be broadcasting live. More candidates will be on the show. And so we look forward to that. So we're going to have a great time. So we're live again on the road tomorrow. Vision Community Church, Fredericksburg, Virginia. Folks, if you want to support the work that we do, please do so. Join our Bring the Funk fan club. Your dollars are critically important for our success. We ain't got millionaires and billionaires cutting us checks every single doggone month, but every week. But this is what we do. We do the work. And so we cover the stuff that other folk don't want to touch. And so you want to join our Bring the Funk fan club. You want to use Cash App, use the Stripe QR code. You see the bottom left-hand corner. That's for credit cards as well. PayPal is R Martin Unfiltered. Venmo is RM Unfiltered. Zelle, Roland at RolandSMartin.com. Roland at RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Checks and money order. P.O. Box. First of all, make it payable to Roland Martin Unfiltered. P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C. 2003 7-0196. Download the Black Star Network app. Apple phone, Android phone, Apple TV, Android TV, Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Xbox One, Samsung Smart TV. Be sure to get a copy of my book, White Fear, How the Browning of America is Making White Folks Lose Their Minds, available at bookstores nationwide. Be sure to get our Black Star Network gear. That's right, Black Star Network gear at shopblackstarnetwork.com. That's right, our T-shirts. We got, our hats, hoodies, all that good stuff. So y'all be sure to check that out. Be sure to get our Black-owned products. You see all these products to my left right here. All these products are on our website. You see it, you name it, our backpacks, our toilet paper, chips, skin care, you name it, all these products available at shopblackstarnetwork.com. And see, when you support these products, you're also supporting blackstarnetwork.com because we get a portion of these proceeds. And so it's really, really, really important. I certainly appreciate if y'all go to shopblackstarnetwork.com, shopblackstarnetwork.com. Check it out. Also, download the app Fanbase. Be sure to get the app, download it, and all you want to invest, go to startengine.com/fanbase, startengine.com/fanbase. And let me shout out my alpha brother James Edmond, Delta Xi chapter. He sent me, he said he met me in St. Louis. So he sent me this Central State Marauders hoodie and also sent me for the summer this T-shirt right here. So you see it, property of Central State Marauders. And on the back of it, he got Roland 06. I've got the same thing on the back of this right here. So that's how you do it, Frat. I appreciate it. I didn't have any Central State gear. So he heard me mention it. And first of all, he sent the package. Man, he sent the package. No, that's when he, my bad. That's when he pledged. He pledged May 26, 1983. He was number 3. I was number 3. But I pledged 6 years later, spring 89. And so he heard me talk about it. And so I appreciate the Central State gear. Y'all know I only rep HBCU gear on the show when I've been to the campus. I gave the commencement address at Central State. That's why I'm wearing this gear. And so I appreciate that. And so I don't know who I'm wearing tomorrow. So I'm going to wear somebody's stuff tomorrow. But Frat, I appreciate it. Thank you so very much for shipping this gear. And y'all, Oakwood, will y'all tell Oakwood they got to send a brother some gear? I don't have any Oakwood gear. I spoke there in their chapel. I don't have it. I ain't got an Oakwood hat. So if y'all can send me a T-shirt, I can wear it in the summer, and I prefer crew necks versus hoodies because I just hate all this back here. Actually, I want to get them chopped off. But if y'all got a hoodie, that's great. Send it to me. I appreciate it. Send me an email first, but Oakwood. I'm going through the list. I think, I've been a 58 or 59 HBCUs, and I got a whole closet over here. It's all this HBCU gear, so I like to wear it on the show. That's what we do. So, but again, I appreciate it, Frat. Thanks for the Central State gear. Of course, they located right across the street from Wilberforce, and I gave the commencement there a couple of years ago, and they hooked me up with some. You know what? I'm gonna wear Wilberforce tomorrow. Wilberforce, I'm wearing y'all gear tomorrow on the show. All right, y'all. No. I'm going to the church. Wilberforce, I'm wearing y'all gear on Wednesday. Wilberforce, I'll be rocking y'all gear on Wednesday's Roland Martin Unfiltered. All right, y'all, that's it. I gotta go. My Texans play the Seahawks tonight. Terrell, what's your punk ass, Terrell and Anthony? What's your punk ass Commanders? Y'all had one job. Y'all got one job twice a year. Beat the Cowboys. Y'all look pathetic yesterday, letting the Cowboys run up 44 points on y'all. Yeah, I know you ain't have your number 1, 2, and 3 wide receivers, but damn, your running game sucked. You made them look like world beaters. Yeah, guess what? I ain't getting no text messages this week from Terrell and Anthony talking all that trash. I remember when the season started, oh hell yeah, I'm calling both y'all out. Because y'all were talking all that trash about my Texans losing the first 3 games. And Anthony's like, well, look at our record. Yeah, you're absolutely right, Anthony. Let's look at your damn record. Y'all awful. My Texans are 2-3. We playing the Seahawks tonight. We beat them. We gonna go to 500. Let's see here. What are y'all? 3-4. Oops. Look like Anthony. 3-4 and 2-3 is the same. And now Anthony talking about it's too early. He don't want me to put them text messages he had from 2 weeks ago. Yeah, it's amazing how him and Terrell were real quiet. They were real quiet over the weekend. Not Terrell saying where the Super Bowl at. Terrell, your ass wasn't even born the last time y'all won a Super Bowl. Let me go. I'm going to see y'all tomorrow. Holla!